Yo, what's good with it? It's your boy, WTS Sporty, and I'm back with another video. Before we get started, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, like this video, click the notification bell so your boy can get up in the algorithm, man. Let me mix up in there, man, so y'all can keep me elevated, keep me making good content, keep me in the feeds, man. But look, what we're gonna do is react to a video called 9 Times Exotic Pets Went Terribly Wrong. We're gonna get into that right after the theme music. We're gonna bust that theme music right about now. Way too sporty, what you talking about? POV, a nigga dropping, nigga popping out. Way too turn so you can cut it out. Bust the ugly thing on you, have you running out. Way too fresh, your favorite YouTuber. Nigga way too cold, I don't do bloopers. Stay 10 toes down, I don't do troop. All right, y'all ready? Let's touch this thing. Hey, you. Boom.
Number 9. The bear named Teddy. Bears are beautiful animals. People love them and fear them. And you should probably fear them too. They're massive, powerful, and like all animals that belong in the wild, they're unpredictable. So is it a good idea to keep a bear as a pet? Well, for the Waltz family of Pennsylvania, they learned the hard way that this wasn't the best idea. Their bear, very appropriately named Teddy, was an example of what happens when these stories take a darker turn. The Waltz family had raised Teddy since he was a young cub, so Teddy did have a bond with the family. And yet that bond didn't stop the 350-pound teddy bear from killing 37-year-old Kelly Ann Waltz. One day she was cleaning out Teddy's cage like she had done many times before. And now you might be thinking, did Kelly do anything to trigger the bear? Well, yes and no. No, she didn't do anything directly. However, she made the fatal mistake of cleaning the cage while the bear was still in there with her.
What the hell was she thinking, man? Did she really think that that bear was domesticated enough for her to go in there and clean that cage with that bear in there? Usually, if you got a dangerous animal like that, you want to remove the animal, then go ahead and do your, your duties. But that motherfucker right here gonna clean the cage with the bear in it? Man, let's see how this shit rolled out. It can't be good.
As one person noted, her children and the neighbor's children saw the attack and summoned help, and the neighbor shot and killed the bear while it was still atop Waltz.
Good, I'm glad she got some help.
One could argue that this was the perfect example of why bears aren't to be trusted as pets in any circumstance. Number 8. Carla Nash and the chimp that maimed her. Sandra Harold raised Travis, her pet chimpanzee, like a member of the family in her Stamford, Connecticut home. The widow took baths, drank wine, and shared a bed with her primate pal. Travis even brushed Sandra's hair and kissed her when she left the house.
Hold up, man. It said that she drank wine with the chimp, so she didn't get set up here and got drunk with that damn chimpanzee. All right, so let's see what's going on.
As strange as all this closeness was, it seemed harmless enough. After all, Travis had no record of unruly behavior except for an incident in 2003 when he escaped and held up traffic for hours. But nobody expected the tragedy that unfolded in 2009 when Sandra's friend, 55-year-old Carla Nash, visited one day and unintentionally triggered the 14-year-old 200-pound chimpanzee to fly into a rage. The unprovoked attack was gruesome. Travis latched onto Carla's face, ripping it apart. Sandra felt she had no other choice than to repeatedly stab her beloved animal companion in an attempt to save her friend. An ambulance was summoned to the scene and Carla was taken to the hospital in extremely critical condition. Travis attacked a police officer who shot the chimpanzee dead. Investigators were unsure what set Travis off, but as journalist Brian Walsh pointed out in a Time article, keeping a primate as a household pet really is kind of a ticking time bomb. Simply put, this tragedy is a sobering reminder of why wild animals should always be considered dangerous and should only be handled by qualified professionals. When Nash sued her friend for a massive sum of $50 million. Just as important, though, she became the first patient to ever receive a double hand and face transplant, which might be medical history, but it's not exactly the history that Carla Nash would want to be associated with.
I'm guaranteed it's not.
The bite of the widow. Hearing that someone is a spider collector can be a little off-putting, right? But bug collecting and arachnid collecting are actually more common than you'd think. There are people who collect them just to trade and sell them to other collectors all over the world. The problem here, though, is when one of those collectible items is dangerous and potentially fatal, like the black widow spider. Enter Mike Vogel, a German man who had no problem being alone in life. The only things that kept him company were the various snakes, insects, and spiders that he'd collected over time. We're sure you can guess what's about to happen to Mr. Vogel. Somehow, one of his black widows got out and bit him. Black
Damn.
widow spiders are one of the most venomous spiders on the planet, and getting bitten by them can cause all sorts of pain and agony, and a lot of time, it can cause death. Now, not only did he die from that bite, he was later found draped in spider webs
Damn.
and mostly consumed by the hundreds of creatures that this solitary man had in his place.
Damn. So look, man, check it. How the fuck did those animals get out if the only thing that got out was that black widow? How the hell did the other animals get out to, like, you know what I'm saying, dismember him, chew him up, eat him apart? Did he not have everything like fucking caged up? And if he didn't, you already know. That's on old boy.
So much so that it said
For
his
real.
body was scattered all over the place by the time he was discovered. To
Damn.
wrap this up, there are better things to keep you company than deadly spiders. Just saying. Do you know anyone with a collection like Mr. Vogel? Let us know in the comments section down below. And if
Actually,
you're
I
liking this
do.
video, be sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Number 6, Sandra's Wolf Pack. Dogs are a man's best friend and very loyal companions. Lots
Yeah.
of people have dogs. In fact, most people have dogs, but most people don't have pet wolves. Wolves are steeped in folklore and are said to be monsters. And that's not really true at all, but that doesn't mean they don't attack humans when the need arrives. Which brings us to Sandra L. Piovagian. She had 9 wolf dogs and raised them with care and affection. If you're curious, yes, wolf dogs are exactly what they sound like. Part wolf, part dog. They're known to have the traits of both, which only makes sense. It's documented that Sandra really did take good care of her dogs and loved them with all her heart. But not unlike an earlier story, that doesn't mean that they weren't above attacking her. One day, she was supposed to meet her daughter for a meeting, but she never arrived. Concerned, her husband went home to try and find her, only to find that the wolf dogs had attacked her, dragged her to their pen, and started to eat her. By the time the husband got to her, she was already long gone. But there is a mystery in this story that hasn't been solved. Why did this happen at all? Many can't figure it out based on what was known about her and how she treated her wolf pack. Did she make a mistake? Did the wolf-like instincts of the dogs kick in for some reason? It's hard to say, but this story proves why even in the best of circumstances, it's not wise to have any kind of wolf as a pet, which is likely why the wolf dog as a breed is banned in several countries around the world. Number 5, the stag and Gerald. Gerald Rushton was a Texas man with a bold plan, and like many people from Texas, he considered rules to be more like suggestions. We say this because upon his death, investigators found that he was in possession of many illegal animals in his backyard. He was capturing them in order to attempt to domesticate them in his own way. Why did Gerald think he would be able to tame a bunch of wild animals with no prior animal training experience? Well, who knows? On the law side of things, though, well, it's illegal. And on the logical side of things, it's just kind of stupid. Which we can say, because one of the creatures that he tried to domesticate was a 500-pound red stag deer. Not exactly Bambi.
Wow.
Deer may seem like they're nice and skittish, but they're fierce creatures that aren't afraid to protect their own or defend their territory. Gerald Rushton went
Damn.
inside the cage of his stag deer and then was
That shit
promptly
probably fucked
gored
him up
by
just
its
like that.
massive antlers.
Jeez.
After being pinned to the nearby fence, the stag
Wow.
then proceeded to trample Gerald until he was dead. Afterwards, game wardens arrived to put the stag down, but the damage had already been done. Number 4,
he
the
got killed by a
python and
stag.
the toddler. Usually when
Big
you
ass
hear of
Bambi.
snake interactions gone wrong, you think of someone who was stupid enough to let a
Damn,
snake
look
get
what
too
happened to
close
old boy
them, and they get
face,
a
though.
nasty bite from
Pause. Look at that. Man, he looked like he got into a fight with a big ass dude that got jumped by 8 dudes. You know what I'm saying? Look at that shit. Eyes shut, jaw fucking big. Yeah, he got fucked up. If you look like that after a fight, you got fucked up. He got into it with a snake. Let's see how this shit rolled out.
the snake's fangs that are quite literally dripping with deadly venom. Or in some cases, someone was simply mishandling the creature, and snakes aren't the kinds of creatures you want to mishandle.
No.
But snakes don't usually kill their victims by biting them and wasting venom. Their most preferred method of terror is asphyxiation. They wrap their long bodies around their prey and squeeze. They squeeze so tight that whatever or whoever the snake wraps up can no longer breathe, which is what happened to an unlikely toddler in a horrifying fashion. In Florida, make your own jokes here, a woman named Jaren Hare and her boyfriend Charlie were living together with Charlie's 2-year-old daughter and a giant python. Now, according to them, they had placed this python in a laundry bag and then put it in a tank that
Always, when there's an infant around, you know what I'm saying, you want to check to see what the temperature is of that animal around that toddler. You know what I'm saying? Toddlers don't know if this animal is dangerous or not, but the dangerous animal knows exactly what the fuck it wants to do to anything around it. You know what I'm saying? So don't just have no wild animal around no toddler. You know what I'm saying? That shit's small enough to be food to a lot of these fucking beasts.
That was sealed by a pinned quilt. Again, make your own jokes here. The problem here was that the python was very clearly intelligent and escaped 10 times previously. 2 probably should have been the limit before a better cage was found.
Right.
And then it wandered to where the 2-year-old child was. The python wrapped its body around the child and quite literally squeezed the life out of it.
Damn.
The jury sentenced the couple to 12 years in jail.
That's fucked
and the
up.
foreperson had this to say. Even under the most remote circumstances, it was possible that the child could have been injured. And it was their duty to make sure that there was no possibility that a 2-year-old would be bitten or in any way harmed.
Wow.
We feel extremely upset about having to make this decision, but we believe it's the correct one.
The parents definitely should have had to pay some type of consequence for having a python, which is a dangerous reptile, and has had a history of escaping and has done so at least 10 times before this shit has happened before. 10 times before this happened now. Boo. Y'all should have knew better than that snake eventually was going to get out again. Now you got a toddler in play. Man, you got to be more careful, man.
It's not hard to see why they came to such a notion. Because when it comes to snakes, small ones are hard enough to take care of on their own, but giant pythons, well, you have to be very careful about how you handle them. And these 2 clearly weren't. Number 3, Marius and Humphrey. We now move on to a man known as Marius Els, who lived in South Africa. Marius liked having exotic animals as pets, and one of the animals that he kept on his property as a pet was a hippopotamus named Humphrey. Marius and Humphrey were apparently very close, and Marius
Man, whoever played Hungry Hippo. See how big the motherfucking mouth open up, man? Why would you want to have something like that with the mouth of a vice grip as a pet? That thing snap. Those teeth, man, is about as big as arms, bro. Crazy shit, man. Let's see how this shit roll out.
Really did love his pet hippo. He would even sit on Humphrey's back and ride him on occasion. However, one day Humphrey attacked Marius and killed him. What was left of his body was found in the river days later. There's a reason that this is a very popular exotic animal attack story. First, Marius stated many times and in many interviews that he...
Look at that mouth opening. You know what I'm saying? Look how wide the mouth is opened up. That's like the whole front end. That's like the height of the front end of a fucking Cadillac Escalade. You know what I'm saying? So that motherfucker look like it could just chomp down on the front engine compartment portion, you know, the hood portion of a fucking Escalade. Why the fuck would you have that as a pet? Think, motherfuckers, think.
Felt that Humphrey was like a son to him. He had raised this hippo since it was 5 months old, which, not unlike certain stories we told you earlier, would make you assume that the 2 had a deep connection. However, Humphrey had displayed violent behavior in the past. For example, sometimes the hippo would throw Els off its back when he tried to ride him.
That's
but
a red
Marius
flag.
didn't seem to think he was in any danger during these rebukes. Humphrey also nearly attacked a couple of canoeists on their property once, though Els was able to stop Humphrey and stated that he only went after him because he was hungry. Hippos are arguably one of the most dangerous creatures in all the world, and definitely one of the most dangerous animals in Africa.
Yeah.
They may seem like gentle giants,
Hell no.
but they have a temper.
Look at that
and
mouth.
They're faster than they look. Their jaws are powerful enough to snap you in half. Don't underestimate them. And also, don't keep one as a pet. Number 2, lions and children.
Facts.
Sadly, here's another story of a child getting hurt by an exotic pet. Mountain lions are incredibly intelligent and very fierce and very wild creatures. In Odessa, Texas, Amber Michelle Couch had a pet mountain lion. Silly, I know. Who did she think she was?
Hell yeah.
Well, we're not sure. She really had no business keeping a mountain lion, and she wasn't a very good keeper either.
My dad, when he was younger, man, before I was born, when he and my mom were dating, my dad had a bobcat. That bobcat fucked up and went crazy. He had to get rid of it. He had that bobcat for about a year, though. My dad was kind of different, man. You know what I'm saying? My dad had that bobcat for a year, but eventually he had to let it go because as I got coherent, I didn't see no damn bobcat. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. Let's keep rolling.
By that, we mean that the animal was apparently not up to code in terms of the vaccines it needed, which is bad because animals are infamous for spreading viruses. and the cage that it was kept in was said to be both small and full of potential security breaches.
Damn.
One day, Amber's nephew went to look at the mountain lion in its cage. He got way too close, and the dangerous animal went for the kid's face.
Damn.
And sadly, it got it. Now, can we say for certain that if the cage and mountain lion was...
Cats are fucking quick, so, you know, it didn't take him nothing to get to that face, man. And I don't think that kid had that common knowledge as to how fast cats or animals actually are. So that was fucked up. That kid should have been nowhere around that fucking cat.
to code that this wouldn't have happened? No. Again, mountain lions are very smart creatures, and like all creatures, they're extremely unpredictable. Number 1, I have a tiger in my apartment. Anton Yates lived in Harlem, and he had a very tiny apartment all to himself. Nothing wrong with that, right?
You know what? I heard about this goofy-ass story, man. I'm gonna keep playing it, but I heard about this, so yeah.
Except he decided he wanted a roommate in the form of a 425-pound pet tiger. Not so surprisingly, Yates was later attacked by his pet tiger, and he had to go to the hospital as a result. When the hospital staff asked Yates how he got his deep slash wounds, he blamed his pit bull for the attacks. Furthermore, the other people in the apartment apparently knew about the tiger but didn't report it until after the tiger had attacked him. I mean, how could you not anticipate the tiger to attack? He belongs in a jungle, guys, and not the jungle of New York City. So yeah, that happened. And let this be a lesson to you, and you, man, that if you haven't subscribed already, you need to do that, man. Click the like button, get me in the algorithm. Make sure you click that notification bell so my videos pop up in your news feed, man. So anytime I drop a video, you know about it. Look, crazy shit, man. Having these exotic animals, man, that shit can backfire on you in a heartbeat. I would say stick to domesticated animals like, you know, regular dogs, cats, some snakes, turtles and shit like that. But dogs, cats, birds and shit like that, things that are not known for being fatal, you should probably, you're okay with those things. But things that are known to be fatal, I can't even talk right now. Fatal, don't fuck with it. Look, I'm going to get up out your hair, give Stress the wrong address. If you want to watch this video again, link in the description below. I'm about this thing. Peace. Way too sporty, what you talking about? POV, a nigga dropping, nigga popping out. Way too turn so you can cut it out. Bust the ugly thing on you, have you running out. Way too fresh, your favorite YouTuber. Nigga way too cold, I don't do bloopers. Stay 10 toes down, I don't